Hello everybody, yes, you have read the title correctly. I have watched Drive to Survive Season 3. I'm a very, very lucky boy. And I thought, let's answer some of your questions from social media, get the hype building on the run up to the release on the 19th, and just, you know, try and not spoil anything. And obviously everyone knows what happened in the races, so there's not a huge amount of spoilers. Of course, there are funny moments that I'm not going to explain because it will just ruin it. But basically, overall, this video is just going to cover, like, did I like it? How many episodes are there? Were there certain drivers featured, and so on. So let's get into your questions. At Formula Miguel, did you like it? Yes, I'm a massive fan of Drive to Survive. I think it's a brilliant thing for Formula One. It's brought in a huge amount of new fans, and as much as, you know, there are huge amounts of drama and things are wrong with the show, like team radios and things like that, which does continue in Season 3. I'm sorry, there's one particular moment that I'm not going to mention, which really annoyed me, but you will work it out on the 19th or whenever you watch it. I think it's episode 9. But either way, you know, there are things that are wrong with it from a Formula One hardcore, but overall, the idea of it and bringing in new fans, I'm a complete fan of, and Season 3 was up there with Season 1 in my opinion. Anak Molinari asks, there will be an episode about Sakir. Will George be in any episode? Unfortunately, for people hoping to see a behind the scenes of George in Mercedes, there isn't one. They just didn't cover his drive at all. They did cover Perez and his victory, which was awesome to watch. But for George, he was just kind of swept to the wayside a little bit and wasn't really featured in Netflix Drive to Survive as a whole, which was a shame. I felt like there was at least a small segment for Sakir. But hey, did anyone really want to relive that whole horribleness of George not winning? Visor It's asks, just how much did they villainize and beat down on Seb and Alex? Well, they didn't really beat down at all on Seb, in my opinion. Of course, they kind of talk about Seb having a difficult season, but when he has that move to Aston Martin, the way in which he's depicted is actually in quite a positive light. And Ferrari are the ones, if anything, to look the bad cop in that whole scenario. Of course, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but Seb is spared a lot of criticism and that kind of thing, which he could have easily had because, you know, 4-time world champion and had a difficult season. But Seb, in my opinion, had quite a bit of positive sentiment coming out of Drive to Survive, which is good. Oh, and I didn't mention Alex. Yeah, Alex got beat down quite a bit more. There's quite a bit on Christian Horner, you know, and the big boss and the decision he has to make around who he's going to put in the seat. And yeah, Alex, yeah, he gets crapped on a lot more actually. And I don't think Alex will be watching this series too much because it is quite harsh. Of course, you know, it's fair that he had the criticism that he had for a lot of it because his performances weren't up to scratch, but yeah, it's not nice to watch back for sure. Sirius Bright STR asks, are all drivers covered? Have they done justice to this crazy season? In some ways, yes. They haven't covered everybody for sure. Like George Russell was one of the ones I mentioned that he doesn't get hardly any airtime at all. But you'll be very pleased to know, Lando fans, that Lando features a hell of a lot in Drive to Survive, especially in the early episodes. And to be honest, I felt like it was almost a bit too much how much he was featuring, but I guess they were trying to make up for him not featuring at all the previous season. But I'm sure you Lando fans will be very happy to see him featured. There's a lot about the Lando versus Carlos rivalry, I think towards the end of the season, maybe episode 8, and then Carlos's move to Ferrari as well. So yeah, Lando does feature, don't worry. That Raven guy asks, does it play in chronological order? Well, no. It's the same as Series 1 and 2, where they kind of bounce around from race to race and focusing on the stories rather than, you know, it being in chronological order, which I don't mind too much. I know some people really hate that, especially the ones that just have to see it from Australia to Abu Dhabi, and they were out in Australia, by the way, so it's quite interesting to see the behind the scenes on that. The whole pink Mercedes debacle as well, there's a huge amount on that, and Lawrence Stroll is just the ultimate supervillain. That's all I'm gonna say. You will enjoy how just plain evil he comes across. It's brilliant drama. It's Netflix. What else do you expect? Adam PW _ F1 says, is it better than Season 2? Yes it is. It's much better than Season 2. I felt, yeah, I was similar to where Adam says. He says Season 2 was nowhere near as good as Season 1 in my opinion. It felt rushed. And yeah, I would say the same. It felt very samey. It was almost like a copy and paste, you know, that stick to Gunter. Gunter does feature in season 3, which is awesome. His sweary self is back and he has some amazing moments, but it wasn't overdone like season 2, where I felt like Gunther Steiner was the main star role and he was forced into, you know, eating in front of his, you know, having a whole meal with his family, with the crew there, which was a bit forced in season 2. But it's a nicer balance, I think, this year. The Evolved RDN, did Gasly's win and Russell's Mercedes drive feature in it? Of course, I've said Russell doesn't feature, but Gasly's win is the best episode. It is just the most feel-good, awesome, kick-ass episode. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I think it's episode 6. But either way, it is so good. I love the way they paint the picture of, you know, the fact that he was, you know, pretty much down in the gutter to then winning at Monza. Trust me, you will love that episode. N3 WOP3 has asked, how much is Max going to be in it? Hasn't been in it much the past seasons. He wasn't in it really at all again this year. Obviously, they show him on track and things like that, but no, Max doesn't feature, and I don't think he really wanted to feature this season by the looks of things, even though Red Bull was quite a bit of the forefront of a couple of episodes, you know, talking about the Mercedes rivalry, but Max really wasn't part of the show, which was a shame. Cena573 asks, did they give Hulkenberg the hype it deserves? A lot of Hulkenberg fans are going to be very angry indeed. I think he featured for about 1 second. None of the fact that he comes back, you know, to Formula 1 and has an amazing drive at Silverstone, anything like that, no. Nothing for Hulkenberg. I'm sorry to all you fans out there. I was quite gutted as well. It would have been nice to see some of it. Of course, you know, it's last minute and they have to rearrange. Maybe they're filming with a certain team and they're only on a limited capacity of crew. You know, if Nico just, you know, pops up a day before or a few hours before, it's quite difficult to move that around. But at the same time, it would have been nice to at least acknowledge the awesome sort of drives that he had in Germany as well. But yeah, it just didn't happen, unfortunately. W_Heikel_W. More Kimmy or less Kimmy? More Kimmy, but not much Kimmy. Let's put it that way. There's one moment, I'm not going to go into it, no spoilers. It is so funny. You'll know exactly what it is when it happens, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Kimmy does feature for a very small amount, and it's comedy gold as always. Hi there _F1 asks, is Grosjean's crash over-dramatized? It probably is. Now, this episode is going to split quite a few people, I think. It's going to go straight down the middle. So, Netflix very much over dramatized the crash. You know, it's going to be quite difficult for people to watch that, especially new fans. It's really I don't know, it wasn't done in a particularly tasteful manner. You don't see Grosjean get out the crash for over 5 minutes, and you know, I'm not gonna spoil everything, but you know, it's one of those ones where I didn't particularly agree with the way it was done. You know, there were so many camera angles, so much, oh, you know, is he going to get out alive and things like that. And of course, you know, you have to build the whole scene, and I get why they've done it. But yeah, it could have been done in a bit more of a tasteful manner, in my opinion. But fortunately, there was a nice ending to it where Roman and his wife have an interview, and it's really wholesome and really heartwarming. So it's kind of like the extremes of emotion. I see what they've gone for. You know, they've gone for this terror, oh my God, is he going to get out, to then having this really wholesome and lovely interview with the pair of them. So yeah, I don't think a huge amount of people are going to be happy with the way it was done, but it's Netflix. What else did we expect? Klaus Mikkelsen from Instagram asks, to know if there's a brief episode about the Mugello GP, because that was a weird one. There was nothing on Mugello, really. I think that was the same episode where they covered Seb Vettel going from Ferrari to Aston Martin. But no, there was nothing on the crash, nothing of the Grand Prix, really. It was just kind of pushed to one side. There are some weird moments that weren't included, like the George Russell thing, which I can't believe there was nothing on that. And then, of course, the Mugello GP as well, not really covered. Bit of a shame, really. Right, some of you may deem this as spoilers, so if you want to turn off, feel free. But I'm just going to talk about each episode and the highlight for each one and what they go into. So sorry if you continue to play this and can't find the pause button. But either way, let's start with episode 1. It's all about, obviously, Australia, and it's so weird to see the drivers and, you know, principals hugging and high-fiving and all that sort of stuff, because, of course, COVID wasn't deemed as you know, well, it was deemed as risky, but at the same time, no one really knew what was going to happen. And, of course, that whole debacle was quite interesting to watch. Episode 2 was about Red Bull versus Mercedes. You know, you have this whole clash between Toto Wolff and Christian Horner, which is quite interesting to watch. Two titans of Formula 1 coming together, and they say some quite interesting things, which is pretty good to watch. Episode 3 is about Bottas and being a number 2 driver, and just be prepared to see a naked Bottas. I didn't really wasn't expecting it. It just happened. So get ready for your eyes. Obviously, he's not fully nude in the sense of you don't see him fully nude, but he is, yeah. You'll enjoy it, maybe, or not. Episode 4 is all about Ferrari, the Italian Grand Prix, of course, you know, their home race and wanting to do really well. And it's just basically talking about the downfall of Ferrari and what's going on with them, basically. So it's quite interesting again, because you know you get the insight into the Ferrari team, although not a lot, don't get me wrong. But still, quite an interesting episode. Episode 5 is all about Danny Rick leaving Renault and going to McLaren, and the weird thing about that is the relationship that Cyril and Daniel then have after that. I won't spoil it too much, but yeah, it's quite a weird one to see unfold. Episode 6, as I mentioned earlier, the best episode in the series, so damn good, all about Pierre Gasly winning at Monza. Oh, it's just so feel good. Just get yourselves ready, tuck yourselves in bed, get your popcorn, get your chocolate, whatever you're going to eat, and you will very much soak that one Episode 7, we take a look into Haas and how they have to deal with replacing Grosjean and Magnussen. Again, trying not to spoil things because I don't want people to hate me, but it is really insightful as to exactly what Günther Steiner had to do in order to appease sponsors, not for Mazepin, but for Schumacher and everything around that. So yeah, again, not spoiling things, I hope. Episode 8, Lando versus Carlos, that teammate rivalry, and talking a little bit about Carlos moving to Ferrari. Episode 9, I've mentioned, of course, is about Grosjean and the very over-dramatised scene. It's a full episode of just, yeah. I'll be very interested to see what you guys have to say on social media about it. And finally, episode 10 is quite an interesting one. It's about the fight for third at Abu Dhabi, so between McLaren, between Renault, and of course between Racing Point as well, because you have that whole hype throughout the whole series about the pink Mercedes and who's going to come out on top. So yeah, so overall 10 episodes, around roughly I'd say about 35 to 40 minutes per episode. So yeah, a decent binge watch, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will finish it in a day. So finally, I'm not going to say that out loud, _777 says, worth the hype, yes or no? Yes. As I said, I'm a massive fan of Drive to Survive. I think it's an awesome thing to whet the appetite going into a new season. There are still things that could be improved. The team radio stuff is just, some of it is so obviously wrong, but they've used it to try and hype certain things up. One of which, again, I'm not going to mention, but episode 9, you guys will, I'm sure, jump on that and go, that was pretty rubbish. And yeah, it wasn't the nicest thing to, not nicest, but just wasn't the most respectful thing to put in there. But overall, yeah, I still really enjoy it. I love the drama, I love the intensity, I love the insight and the behind the scenes to teams that you don't usually get. And you know, a lot of them bantering about Netflix filming them, and we get secret conversations. I still very much enjoyed it. I think season 3 was up there with season 1, just purely for the, you know, for the Perez win, for the Gasly win, and those sort of things. So you know, there were some really nice headline moments in this series, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Right, there you go. I hope I haven't spoiled everything too much. I've tried my very best to hold back a lot of the information and the funny bits and just kind of give you an overview of what you can expect. I, of course, will, you know, be very interested to see what you guys think on the 19th when it drops. We will be releasing a couple of episodes as well on us reacting to those, to the series, basically. It's going to be split up in half. So very excited to share that with you as well. And we may also do a watch-along, which is, you know, lots of content coming out. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye!